June 4, 1987. Father Gabriel Amorath, the chief exorcist for the Vatican, performs an exorcism on a reportedly possessed young farmer in Tropea, Italy. The exorcism ends after Amurth apparently tricks the supposed demon into possessing a pig that is subsequently shot in its head, seemingly saving the farmer. July 1, 1987. Single mother Julia moves her teenage daughter Amy and young son Henry to Castile, Spain, where they inherited San Sebastian Abbey from Julia's late husband Roberto Vasquez, who died 1 year earlier. Julia meets Carlos, the contractor leading renovations on the property, as well as local priest Father Thomas Eskibel. July 2, 1987. Father Amurth is summoned to a formal hearing in Rome where Cardinal Sullivan leads a panel disciplining him for performing the unsanctioned exorcism in Tropea. Amurth explains that the exorcism wasn't real and that he instead used theater to convince a disturbed man to lose the illusion of possession. With Bishop Lumumba coming to his defense, Amurth further contends that 98% of his cases are mental maladies he ultimately refers to doctors. Since he reports directly to the Pope, Amurth abruptly exits the hearing when Cardinal Sullivan, who doesn't believe in literal demons, continues insisting that Amurth vacate his position as chief exorcist. The contractors abandon Abbey renovations after an underground explosion injures several workers. Concurrently, Henry becomes possessed. Concerned by his worsening condition, Julia takes Henry to a hospital where all tests come back negative for any physical affliction. As Henry's behavior becomes more alarming, Julia contacts Father Eskibel. Through Henry, the demon attacks Eskibel and demands to see a different priest. The Pope personally assigns Amurth to investigate Henry's case. Before Amurth departs for Spain, the Pope warns him that San Sebastian Abbey has been a historically problematic location for the Vatican. Upon arriving at the Abbey, Amurth meets Father Eskibel, Julia, and Amy. During his initial meetings with Henry, the boy coughs up a bird while taunting Amurth over his guilt regarding the death of a woman named Rosaria. Meanwhile, her dead father's voice threatens Amy that everyone in the Abbey will die. Amurth enlists Eskibel to help him uncover the demon's name through prayer. Through Henry, the demon taunts Eskibel over a romantic affair he had with a woman. Afterward, Amurth consoles Eskibel by having him confess so his sins cannot be used against him. Amurth realizes the demon has a larger plan than merely possessing the boy. Recognizing the seal of the Spanish Inquisition over a well outside, Amurth uncovers a skull-adorned shaft leading to hidden catacombs. Henry bites off a part of Eskibel's ear. Amy and Julia are each besieged by separate instances of paranormal activity in their rooms. Amurth saves Julia from being pulled inside her bed. Amurth and Eskibel then rescue Amy from a closet. Amurth shows Eskibel his subterranean discovery. The two priests realize that heretics who refused to convert to Christianity were tortured and buried below the Abbey. Behind a hidden door bearing the Vatican symbol, they also find the corpse of a cardinal protector who was locked away as the last line of defense against a great evil. Meanwhile, the Pope has a heart attack in the Vatican while reading a redacted book about the Abbey's horrible history. After unlocking another hidden chamber, Amurth and Eskibel find the skeleton of a legendary exorcist. From that exorcist's journal, the priests learn he became possessed by Asmodeus, the king of hell, in 1475. Amurth realizes that through this possession, Satan was able to commit acts of torture and persecution in the name of the Church by orchestrating the Spanish Inquisition, and the Vatican tried to cover it up. Eskibel concludes that the construction must have freed Asmodeus. The priests further deduce that Asmodeus is attempting to collect all 200 of heaven's fallen angels as an army to destroy the Church, which the demon plans to infiltrate by possessing Amurth. To hinder Asmodeus from continuing to use his haunting memories against him, Amurth confesses to Eskibel that Rosaria was a woman he was assigned to exorcise. Amurth concluded Rosaria, who was often surrounded by birds like the one Henry coughed up, and like Amurth saw when he was a resistance fighter in Wood 2, was mentally disturbed, so he let a medical professional take over her case. However, Rosaria committed suicide over Amurth's refusal to perform an exorcism, creating his long-standing guilt. Following more supernatural attacks against Amy and Julia, Amurth and Eskibel resume Henry's exorcism. Asmodeus taunts the two priests with more visions of Rosaria and the woman Eskibel loved. Amy becomes possessed until the demon finally begins taking over Amurth. At the same time, Cardinal Sullivan suffers a supernatural attack at the Vatican. Eskibel uses the opportunity to help Julia escape in a car with her two children. To prevent Asmodeus from fully possessing him, Amurth attempts to hang himself, but the demon breaks the rope. Amurth flees to the catacombs where a final confrontation full of paranormal activity and disturbing visions takes place. Eskibel returns to find Amurth possessed, but he compels Amurth to fight the demon. Asmodeus is ultimately banished, and Amurth recovers. Amurth and Eskibel return to the Vatican to find the Pope also made a full recovery. The priests learn Cardinal Sullivan went on sabbatical. Bishop Lumumba was promoted to his position, and Julia's family relocated to America. Eskibel agrees to accompany Amurth on his new assignment to track down the cursed sites of the other 199 fallen angels.